People often believe that receiving a promotion is an unequivocal benefit, a step forward in one's career journey. It's easy to see why. It brings a higher salary, an elevated title, and a sense of accomplishment that signals you're making progress in your professional life. However, I propose that for a significant portion of you, approximately 60%, accepting a promotion could be the quickest route to undermining both your financial prospects and your overall satisfaction. It may sound absurd to consider rejecting a raise and an opportunity for advancement, but this situation can stem from a phenomenon known as the Peter Principle. This concept isn't merely a relic of corporate humor from decades past. It outlines a fundamental truth about workplace dynamics that can explain why many supervisors may lack the necessary skills for their roles, and, more critically, how you can sidestep the same fate. If you ascend the corporate ladder without a clear strategy, you'll inevitably find yourself in a position where you struggle to perform effectively. Today, we'll explore the reasons why declining a promotion could be the most advantageous decision for your career. The research I've reviewed over the years on labor economics and organizational behavior reveals a startling conclusion. Many individuals receive promotions based on criteria that fail to reflect their true capabilities. We often approach our careers as if they were a video game, where the objective is to continuously level up until we reach the ultimate achievement. In reality, advancing in your career can shift the nature of the game entirely. You may transition from a role that requires specific skills to one that demands an entirely different set, leading to a situation where you excel in one area but falter in another. For instance, a talented software engineer might excel at coding but falter when thrust into a managerial position that demands interpersonal skills and administrative finesse. This disconnect can create a trap, leading to diminished performance and increased stress. To further illustrate this point, we'll delve into a comprehensive study of sales teams that validates this argument, followed by a practical guide on how to gracefully turn down a promotion without appearing to retreat from your ambitions. This discussion centers around the strategic decision to maintain your current position for the time being. Before we dive deeper into the rationale for remaining in your current role, I want to emphasize that this channel approaches financial and career-related decisions from a logical, data-driven perspective rather than an emotional one. If you're ready to stop making choices based on momentary feelings and start making decisions that will genuinely enhance your long-term prospects, subscribing to this channel is a wise investment of your time. Now, let's consider the thoughts of Lawrence J. Peter, who famously critiqued managerial inefficiency. In his 1969 work, which began as a satirical take on corporate life, he introduced a theory that has since become essential in understanding workplace hierarchies. His central thesis is both straightforward and impactful. Individuals tend to ascend within organizations until they reach their level of incompetence. Here's how this unfolds. You start your career in a position where you demonstrate competence, leading to promotions. Each advancement places you in increasingly challenging roles until, ultimately, you find yourself in a position that exceeds your skill set. Whether the demands of the job change or the stress becomes unmanageable, you may begin to falter. Once you reach this critical juncture where your performance declines, promotions cease. However, rather than being dismissed, you often remain in your role, effectively becoming a bottleneck in your organization, which stifles both your growth and that of your colleagues. The system appears designed to elevate you out of roles where you thrive while anchoring you in positions where you struggle, resulting in a paradox where your initial competence transforms into a sense of inadequacy. Consider the common scenario in the tech industry. A brilliant software engineer, whose coding abilities outshine their peers, is promoted to a managerial position. On paper, this seems logical, but the reality is that the responsibilities of a manager differ vastly from those of a coder. The new role requires soft skills, such as empathy and conflict resolution, which may not align with their strengths. Consequently, the organization loses a top-notch engineer and gains an ineffective manager, ultimately resulting in a loss for everyone involved. You might be thinking that you can adapt, that your intelligence will allow you to master the management skills required. While that sentiment is commendable, it often overlooks the hard truths of career dynamics and the inherent challenges of transitioning roles. I'm Aria Vale, and this is The Wealth Shift. Imagine a narrative where the journey of professional growth often leads to unexpected outcomes. While one might believe that excelling in a specific role guarantees success in a higher position, research suggests otherwise. Data indicates a troubling trend. Organizations frequently undermine their own value by promoting their top performers. If you believe your situation is unique, consider the findings from a comprehensive study involving over 53,000 workers, demonstrating that exceptional performance in one capacity can foreshadow challenges in the next. Years ago, a pivotal study explored this phenomenon, seeking to determine whether it was merely anecdotal or a genuine pattern. Researchers scrutinized data from more than 200 companies, focusing particularly on sales roles. Sales, with its clear metrics, provided an ideal landscape for analysis. The results were striking. The primary factor determining whether a salesperson ascended to a managerial role was their sales performance. The assumption seemed reasonable. High achievers should naturally be rewarded with leadership roles. However, the true implications of these promotions revealed a stark reality. The research unveiled a concerning dynamic. Those who excelled in sales often faltered in management. In fact, there was a negative correlation between sales prowess and managerial effectiveness. The high-achieving salespeople, once promoted, led teams that underperformed compared to those managed by average sellers. This unexpected downfall stemmed from the fundamental differences between selling, which relies on individual drive, and managing, which necessitates collaboration and patience. By promoting top sellers, organizations inadvertently removed their best revenue generators from the sales floor, placing them in positions that could hinder the collective performance of their teams. This created a detrimental cycle of value erosion. The study further identified the traits of effective managers, noting that those who thrived in collaborative environments, even if their individual sales figures were not the highest, were often overlooked in favor of those with more visible metrics. This situation illustrates a deeper structural flaw in how we perceive talent. The common assumption is that excellence is linear, that being proficient at one level guarantees success at the next. However, talent is often multidimensional. Excelling at one stage does not necessarily translate into success at a higher level. Moreover, there is a statistical principle known as regression to the mean, which plays a significant role in this discussion. To be promoted, one typically needs to achieve extraordinary results, often fueled by a combination of skill and fortuitous circumstances. However, when individuals are elevated based on peak performance, their subsequent results are likely to settle back toward their average, particularly when faced with the increased demands of a new role. This can create a perception of incompetence, when in reality, the promotion system has simply tapped into their temporary peak, setting them up for a statistical adjustment. To visualize the implications of this dynamic, consider the conventional metaphor of a career as a ladder. It's a misleading image that suggests continuous upward movement. Instead, imagine a graph where one axis represents your competence and the other your job level. Most careers do not follow a straight upward trajectory. Rather, they take on a specific shape, and recognizing where potential declines may occur is crucial to avoid setbacks. Picture this. As a junior analyst, you might start with low competence, but you quickly ascend as you gain experience. In your subsequent role as a senior analyst, you find your groove, operating in your zone of genius. However, upon reaching management, the tasks shift, and your competence may begin to wane as you transition away from analysis to overseeing others. This trend can continue at higher levels, where roles often demand strategic and political acumen, leading to a significant drop in perceived confidence. Understanding this mechanism is essential for navigating your career successfully. As you reflect on your professional journey, Consider how you can harness your strengths and seek opportunities that align with your abilities. Embrace the diverse dimensions of talent and approach your career with a strategic mindset, ensuring you are prepared for the challenges that may arise as you progress. Navigating the corporate landscape often feels like a linear ascent, where the expectation is to continually climb higher. However, the reality of our professional skills is quite different. They represent a horizontal line that intersects this upward trajectory. As long as your role remains beneath this line, you feel secure. Yet, once the demands of the position exceed your capabilities, you find yourself entering what some refer to as the Peter zone. It's intriguing, albeit tragic, that we often celebrate our arrival in this zone, marking promotions with enthusiasm and updating our professional profiles, all while we may be stepping into roles for which we are ill-equipped. The more prudent approach, one seldom discussed, is to assess that graph of your professional journey, pinpoint where your skills peak, and choose to remain there, focusing on mastery rather than mere advancement. This brings us to the essential calculation of risk versus reward. Each promotion represents a trade-off. You exchange your current comfort and expertise for potential prestige and financial gain, but this also introduces new risks such as burnout, job insecurity, and dissatisfaction. If we were to plot our expected utility, essentially, a measure of happiness combined with financial reward and reduced stress, we would see a curve that rises initially with promotions, until a certain point when the added responsibilities and stress outweigh any increase in salary. Many find this inflection point at the level of senior individual contributor. Beyond that, a nominal salary increase can often lead to a significant rise in stress and a heightened chance of underperformance. This creates a negative expected value that no rational investor would accept, yet we often do so in our careers. Imagine you've analyzed a promotion offer and realize it may not be in your best interest. Declining such an offer without jeopardizing your career can be tricky. You cannot simply say, "No, thank you, I prefer to stay comfortable." Instead, it requires a strategic framing. Begin with a skills audit, engaging in a candid conversation with your supervisor to delineate your value without the need for a title change. Many seek promotions solely for the accompanying pay increase, not necessarily because they desire the new responsibilities. Shift the focus of the conversation towards how you can contribute more value, perhaps by tackling more complex projects or mentoring others, while remaining in your current role. This approach positions your refusal as a commitment to excellence, protecting both your interests and your organization from an unsuitable managerial fit. Should your employer assert that raises are contingent upon stepping into management roles, consider this a glaring indication of a company that fails to recognize true value. Declining a promotion can, in fact, be one of the most powerful moves you can make, showcasing your self-awareness and confidence in your worth and capabilities. It signals that you do not require a title for validation. Paradoxically, those who excel in their roles often find greater job security than those who chase upward mobility, which can render them expendable. The individual who excels in core technical tasks remains indispensable, while those in management positions may be the first to face layoffs. The principle here is evident. The data supports it. If you accept every opportunity blindly, you risk ending up in roles where you feel lost and unfulfilled. The most astute individuals are not necessarily those in the highest offices. They are the ones who have identified their peak performance level and possess the discipline to stay there, thereby maximizing their overall utility rather than merely their job title. This is the essence of winning the career game. If this perspective has shifted your view on your professional journey, I encourage you to express your thoughts and engage with this content. Have you witnessed someone promoted beyond their competence, or perhaps turned down a role that didn't align with your strengths? I look forward to reading your insights. This is Aria Vale, and this is The Wealth Shift.